3000, Dr. Eric Helms will cure metabolic damage simply by proving that such condition never existed. It's starting to get warm out here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm about to start this mini cut.
Hold up, you've only been gating for 6 months. You ain't no noob. You can't do anything in 6 months.
No, my training's been fire of late.
Then why stop the momentum?
You know, keep the body fat in check, bring my insulin sensitivity back up to speed.
Bullshit. You know that guys who say that are just afraid of any form of fat gain. Bert, you work out 5 days a week. Dude, you weight train, and by all intents and purposes, you are a lean person. I'm sure losing 10 pounds isn't going to recalibrate your insulin sensitivity that much. Plus, life is more flexible when you're not dieting. Yeah, you have your shirt on 99% of the time, but at all the spring and summer festivals, you're gonna wanna have beer or food or both 99% of the time.
Okay, I'm sold. So, no mini cuts for at least 6 months and...
3K?
Hey. Haley, quit eating the wood. It's weird. Damn, you bought up, girl. You bought up. Bought up and rolling. Even though you 7, look at you.
Hey, you ready to see a grown man cry, dude? I hope you're okay with that. All right? Yep. There we go.
Yo, that's my boy Zach right there. Again, per usual, every once in a while, I'll take me a lifter, usually local dudes in my gym, and we'll take them through a training session. I don't have workout partners per se, simply because I don't have many people who match up with my training age more than anything. But I will take someone from time to time and just take them through a training day. And the goal is to not just leave them with soreness and be like, holy crap, when I train with Bert, I get hella sore. But more so, here's some things that you can learn that you can apply to whatever it is that you're using. And, you know, things from like technique to like your mental approach, to small suggestions that they can apply based on their own needs. We did myoreps, which is, I guess, like cluster sets. Google myoreps, you'll find exactly what it is. And yeah, they're a very time efficient way of getting a good amount of quality work in. In a video with Jeff Nippard recently, we did myoreps on, I think it was a chest press. We did it on a chest press and then pull-ups as well. And man, I think besides the fact that you get a lot of good quality work in, it kind of teaches you to walk that line with failure. I think relative to other strength athletes, bodybuilders are strength athletes. Again, our main objective is a little different, but we are strength athletes. But as I was saying, the big difference is that bodybuilders, we we definitely ride a little bit closer to failure compared to other strength athletes. And too much of it, especially too much of it too soon, like too soon in a training session, can definitely affect the quality of the rest of the training session. So what myoreps does, I think, is it can really teach a lifter to kind of learn to walk that line. Like what is like, because I think there is a difference between like even within like a 9 RPE, which means like, hey, you know, one rep left in reserve. There's like if you've been doing this long enough, there's like 9.8s and like 9.2s. And again, this kind of teaches you to manage that. But anyhow, I'll leave it there because there's a lot of good stuff on myoreps online, and you guys can go from there. But this was the last training week before we deloaded, and man, am I feeling like straight beast mode right now. We are 25-ish pounds above stage weight, and man, this is like, it's crazy how much better this feels than just 10 pounds ago. And I know that when I gain another like 7-ish pounds, things get even crazier. That's when I start to, you know, throw the 135-pound dumbbells with good form on the incline. and I don't get hurt at that body weight. Nothing really hurts at that body weight, and everything from like my mindset when like nothing is really daunting at that point. I feel like no matter how hard of a day I have scheduled, it's nothing. Like the way I rack and unrack plates is like something else. So yeah, like this is what lifting weights should feel like, and I'm going to continue to enjoy this. And even though I am 6 months into this gaining phase, I am 25 pounds in at this point from where I started. But you have to remember that was contest shape. The first 10 to 15 pounds was something that just needed to happen. And then the next 10, a bit slower. I'd say that, yeah, I think 10 is what I've gained this year. And then I suspect that the rest of the year, I'll gain anywhere between 7 to 10 more pounds. And we'll see what happens from there. But I'm not pulling out the mini card cut. I think the thing with mini cuts is they're often abused. People, instead of like lining it up with big picture plans, it has more to do with where, like how comfy they feel with the way they look. And one thing that I feel the vast majority of people, and this is coming from like someone with like a relatively low body fat set point. The first day I walked into the gym, I had abs. And then like within a month of training, I had vascularity in my abs. So just always been a super lean dude. However, if I want to maximize performance and muscle gain, I just got to be real with myself. And like for me, like when I am holding more body fat than even my body would like is when I tend to be the most predictable. Is when I put on the most muscle, make the most progress in the gym in regards to weight and reps. And the big one, I think, especially whenever you do anything competitively, staying healthy. Sometimes people will, they'll get on athletes who are competitive athletes, who are working around things, and that's just how it goes. Like whenever you go from like I'm gonna just be a recreational lifter to I'm gonna push my body, every once in a while you cross that line. However, when I am at this body weight, it's the line is way further away, and if I do like cross it, like what ends up happening is I regenerate things like fairly quickly. So I had a pulled hammy a few weeks back, and like in no time, like that got good. But in general, I'm just much more durable, and that's super important to me, especially once I get to the point where I'm pushing my body to like places that are just like way out there. So no, overall, I feel comfortable, and I love everything that my body has to offer me at this body weight, and body fat. So we're going to keep things here. And I guess as a challenge to a lot of you guys out there, I would encourage most of you, especially if you are past the intermediate phase, to perhaps take like non-ambiguous gaining phases. And it doesn't mean to get fat, but eat enough to gain for longer than 6 months. And to be honest, I think where the magic really happens is for most people right where they get to that point where they're just like going to turn around again for no reason other than they just don't feel comfy anymore. And yeah, like where my body performs its best is not necessarily, I guess, my most favorite look. Well, at least not my most favorite look when I'm wearing absolutely close to nothing. However, this is what I wear most of the time, and I like the way I look in clothes, but most importantly, I like the way I feel. So yeah, we're going to keep gaining for another 6 months at least, get to that point, see how things are doing, and then decide whether or not we trim some off. Should I continue to gain? Because I'm sure a lot of you guys are asking what's going to happen is you just become more like resistant to gaining weight. So let's just say by November, if I go between now, I'm like 185, 187. If I get up to like 195, 197 by November, which would mean a full year of gaining for me, and I want to continue going because things are just too good. I'm on fire. Like new things that I've never done before are happening all over the place. Then what I'll end up doing is just continue for maybe another 4 or 5 months. And at that point the weight gain will be probably slower. I'd probably gain like 3 pounds or something in that time. So yeah, things just kind of slow down. And especially in my case, everyone's a little bit different, but that's something that you will find is that things kind of tend to like not necessarily stabilize, but with the exception of some folks out there, most people do have a certain threshold that once they cross, like their body's just trying to constantly wiggle the calories off. But training's fantastic. This was a deload week. This is a new movement, by the way. I love the pin pressing. Just feel a whole lot of activity in my clavicular head. I'm not going to try to explain that as to why, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then my triceps, tons of tricep work, which again, the arms, they need to recognize and do something. The seal row's back. We went over that before. And yeah, like I look like a bruiser. I feel like a bruiser, and I know that the next 10 pounds, because at this point, any added body fat, like it just contours so well, that it won't necessarily look worse. And I can't even call it worse because I like the look. It's just a different look. It's a look that I haven't sported in a while. I think my heaviest off-season weight last off-season was probably somewhere around 181 to 183. So I'm already over that. And I think like when I really stop and think about it, my last off season was probably my worst off season ever since I started to have off seasons and really understand how they work. And I think a big thing was I did get hurt early on, and that definitely put some limits on me. But I do feel that the other thing was I never ventured into the high 180s, into the 190s the way I would in the past, and at least stay there for a period of time. Biggest difference is that in the past, I would touch around 190, be there for about 2 months, lightweight freak out, and then like peace out, press the mini cut button. And this time we're not going to do that. We're going to see what happens if we can just chill there for a while. I'm not making any promises, or I'm not going to plan that far ahead. But I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up getting, into the mid to high 190s by the end of this year, and then I decided to, let's go ahead and just train within this at this body weight more or less for all of 2019. I haven't done that since I was in my early 20s, and boy was I handsomely rewarded when I did. So we're gonna see, but I think that's, as of right now, I think that's what makes the most sense, especially given the fact that I'm not going to compete for a while. And I just, like, what's my biggest issue when I get up on that stage? It's not necessarily, that I'm not lean enough. It's more so you're just too small. And even with the lightweights, I'm too small because I'm 5'9", almost 5'10", and I'm up there at 100, like 58 to 160 pounds. Never tried this deep into my training career, so we'll see what happens. But again, you have to try something different, and this is going to be what I'm going to go with. So yeah, but that is my story for last week, part of this week. Kind of put things together simply because I do have a deload week, so nothing too exciting going on this exact week. Hey, one thing that was pretty cool though is like, hey, pause squatting 315, better than when I first started this training cycle, and it's my deload weight. Like, it was totally appropriate. It was this was my last set with 315, and it was supposed to be a 5 and an RPE of 6. So nevertheless, the squat belly is coming through for me, or the power belly is what they call it. That's probably more appropriate. So that's my story, guys. Having a shit ton of fun. I am just in love with training again, and it feels really good. And I think it's been just far too long since I've been here, and I hope to continue sharing this with you guys.